tonight. Can you hear me fine? Better now? Okay, welcome to the live stream. Thank you for joining me. Tonight I'm going to be mixing down a track called Colours by Aaron Cold, who is from Arizona. He's actually on my mentorship course. He's done his first 2 weeks, and it's a track that he submitted. And it's a really good track because this seems to be a level where a lot of my clients are, where they're finishing tracks and it sounds really good, but it's that knowledge between what sounds really good and then what sounds amazing. And that's just, you know, practice, you know, constantly mixing down and referencing all the time. And the fundamentals, which is what I think this track might need. I've had a quick listen. And that's it. Can you hear me okay? Okay, so let's have a listen to the track. Again, it's very nice of Aaron to allow us to use his track. It takes a lot for someone to be critiqued on YouTube with so many people and for it still to be up there. So I'm very grateful to him. Please say hello to Aaron. His real name's Stefan. He's a really nice guy, and yeah, let's get mixing his track. But first of all, let's have a listen to the track. Okay, sorry. I'm going to have to just put on my headphones for a bit. So basically what happened was he had a limiter on there, and he hadn't level matched. And what he was doing, he was kind of killing the bottom end a little bit. He was squashing the hell out of the bottom end. And Stefan is at the beginning of his journey. He's only on week 3 of the course, and we've not got to all this yet. But every plugin you put on, level match it. Always see what it does. It's one of the key things. But let's have a listen to the compressor, what that's doing. Okay, well, again, that's really clamping down on the bottom end, and not in a way that I really like. And I can hear it kind of messing around with it. So if I, there's no love. Oh yeah. And that compressor's bringing the track in. So I'm going to get rid of that. I'm not going to keep it on, but I'm going to really just tickle it. And this is the problem. A lot of we are going to get to that point where he's going to learn about compression and not understand what it just does, but how to hear it. And what Stefan's doing there is he's putting something on, and in both cases it's louder. So he's automatically making it sound louder, so he thinks it sounds better, but it's not. It's affecting the key elements of the track, the bottom end of the track, and I feel like this track is missing a bit of punch. So, okay, is that better with my voice now? Okay, is that better? Okay, is that better? Can you hear me okay? Okay, so I'm going to carry on. So yes, so basically what's happening is sorry about this. It was all set up at one point. Is that only coming out the left-hand side? Okay, is that better now? That should be a lot better. Okay. Are we much better now? That should be right. Okay, so basically what I was saying was Stefan's using the compressors and the limiters, and it's making it sound louder, so he thinks it sounds better, but what he's not realizing is when you level match it, it's really clamping down on the bottom end and taking stuff out that we really want. So I'm just taking them off on the master, and then the saturator. And again, I don't really like what the saturator's doing to it. It's kind of pulling it in. I want it to be open and wide, this track. I want it to be big. Hey, Stefan, how are you? Thanks for joining us. I'm just saying that and look at your master and your glue compressor and your limiter, and things are making things sound louder, but they're bringing the mix in, and when you level match it, you can hear the difference, and that's what you need to do every single time. It's a great record. Everyone's been saying it's a great record, and it's just, we're going through the plugins now because I feel like your track's just a little bit closed in, and I want to make it a bit wider and have a bit more punch. It's very good. And I'm going to take off the saturator. I'm going to start clean like this. So I'm going to level match your mix to this mix now. Straight away the piano's opening up a little bit, and all we've done is take off the things like the limiter, the saturator, and it already sounds better. And like I said, Stefan's at the beginning of his journey, and by week 10 he's going to know how to use these tools properly. And a lot of the time when I'm mixing people's tracks, this is what I do. I just take stuff off, and because a lot of people are not quite sure how to use the tools properly, and they see a video that goes, oh, you should do this on this, or you should do that on that, or they put something on, they use a preset and it's automatically louder, so it automatically sounds better. You should always level match. So I'm going to just mute everything actually. I'm just going to introduce him because he has gain staged. He knows about gain staging. Okay, so let's just get the kick going. Okay, I don't know where the drums are coming from. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that reverb for now. Let's listen to the kick. Okay, so for me the kick, it's not really a high quality kick. It's kind of lacking a really tough transient in the middle, and this kind of music, that's what it has. But I'll come back to the kick in a second because I'll get everything else in. So let's get the... Okay, so it's a drum rack. So I'm just going to bring everything down and try and balance this out. Okay, so again, it's a nice clap. It could be a better sample. But all that matters is how they're interacting with everything else. So what I'll do is I'll get the leads in besides the vocal, and I'll mix to those. just gain stage the bass to -12. Okay, so yeah, we need to gain stage everything. So we need to make sure that it's -12 pre-fader. We have discussed this, I think. Okay. Seems to have lost the preset, Aaron. Can you tell us what the preset was on it? I think it was piano 8, wasn't it? Program, browser. It just sounds really over compressed, so it's kind of losing the punch a little bit. Okay, so the piano sounds good. And he's had a bit of a widener on there. So I'm guessing this one is mono. And then you've added another one on wider. Okay, it sounds louder, it does sound better, but let's have a look, see if there's any phase issues there. Let's put this plugin on. So this is MSED. Oh, where has it gone? And I'm going to put this on the side, the stereo image, and take out the center, see if that sounds any better. And what I can do is I can mute the mid. This is like a mid-side plugin, so you can mute the mids or mute the sides. You'll probably find, Aaron, that the M1 piano is mono anyway, so you don't need to do all this kind of stuff. It's a great piano, but if you look at it, it's the reverb that's generally making it wide, so you don't need to worry about all that. So what we've done is you've put a stereo spread on parallel. So what's happened is you've created two images but made one wider, right? But what that means is in the center, you've got the center of your dry signal, okay? And then you've got the center of your stereo spread signal, okay? And what they do is they make it sound louder, but they can create phase problems, which is a problem with widening. So what I've done is I've just taken out the midsection of your stereo spread because that's what you like. And I think it sounds better. It's not as loud, but it sounds better. Okay, so the piano sounds really good. Hi George, nice to see you on board. Hola Mo, thanks for joining us. So what I'm doing is now, it's a piano house track. I'm trying to get this track 90% there without any plugins or anything else. And I think what we're going to see with this track is that we're going to make this track better by taking things off. And this is a great lesson because it's if you don't level match and you don't do frequency character recognition, you can't listen to what it's doing to the sides, to different frequencies and to everything else in the mix. And it's louder, it's the biggest problem that I see. And it's the hardest thing to learn, frequency character recognition. But with this, it just needs to keep it as simple as possible for the punch. So that's the piano. Okay, I'm going to look for a different kick, Aaron, if you don't mind. I just think this whole I think this kick, if we get you a great sample kick, I think it's just going to punch. A tech house kick might work better with this. You see, that's not the right kick either. The kick is the most important part of your track, and when you start off with it, that kick sounded nice at the beginning, but if you but you had the bass, you had the piano, you had all the hats and all the drums and everything else, and then what happens is they hide the character of the kick, which was good originally. And I want your track to punch, and it just felt like this track wasn't punching. So for me, the foundation of the track is the kick, and now I've got the bass and the piano and the synth besides the vocal, which are the main parts of this track. You know, they sound great, they sound good, but I'm just lacking that real punch by the kick. So I'm going to listen to a few kicks. you see straight away the kick punches and the piano's wider. You know, it's not as phasey, the piano. And that, I think, keep it simple, people. You know, get your piano in, get your bass in, get your kick, your bass in the clap, exactly like we're doing now, right? And if that doesn't sound big and wide and punchy, go back and look at the different elements. This track is going to be transformed now. So let's have a listen to some other elements. Okay, and what I'm doing now is I'm introducing things, right? So I'm happy with the piano. You know, the bass I need to work on, but I'm happy with the kick. But I'm introducing everything into the clap, right? And nothing's going to overpower the kick. Right? So I'm mixing to the kick. Because the kick is the foundation. In dance music, you always want that kick coming through. Now I've found something that cuts through the main elements. It's going to be easy to mix. It's just all going to be about levels. Okay. Okay, so okay, so it's doubling back your end. Right, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the speakers and I'm just going to have to mute myself every time I play the music. So something going on here, I don't know what it is, but let's have a listen to this again. Okay, so I've just introduced the snare, yeah, and it's quite loud, and I've just introduced the rim, and the rim's kind of cutting through a little bit, so, but I needed to put them in their own place in the mix, so I panned the snare left and I panned the rim right. Now for me, the snare is struggling to come through the mix, okay, so lead 1 is your piano, lead 2 is your bass, lead 3 is your kick and your clap, lead 4 is your high synth. I mean, you've got the vocals, but besides the vocals, so every time you add an element from lead 1, lead 2, lead 3, lead 4, you need to do it in the mix. So like that snare might sound good at the beginning of the track, just like the kick did, but right now I feel like it really needs to come through the mix, and that's sample choice. Yeah, I don't want to go into it and start putting loads of plugins on and loads of different things. It's about sample choice. A mix is all about the parts that you put into it. And I'm just going to do a couple of things because this is a production video. And I know Aaron or Stefan wouldn't mind me doing this. So I'm going to look at the clap and look at the snare and see what a difference it makes to the track. Okay, I'm not saying that's the right snare, but can you hear how it cuts through the mix more? And the volumes are different, but it's the frequencies, okay? And I want the snare there. It's a really good snare, but the frequencies need to cut through everything else without me having to keep turning it up and turning it up and turning it up. And that's what I'm listening for. All the snares in my sample pack, which is just above my head, are pre-picked for house music. So whatever your genre is, you should use whatever that is. So let me just try and find a better one that's a bit more old school house, which is what you are. Okay, I don't want to spend all this time looking for snares and looking for everything else, but for me, that snare is down low in frequency and it suits the drums a little bit better. And the one was a bit high, and you've got lots of other things. So bringing it down in the mix just really helped it come through the mix a little bit more. And yeah, I hope you like that, Aaron, but we can look at that afterwards. But for me, this needed to change. I've just put a bit of EQ on the clap to bring it through the mix a little bit more. And it sounds like it's rocking now to me. Let's just A-B that to the original. Sorry, I forgot to put the mic on. So basically, the track is wider and bigger. Everything's punching through a little bit more. The piano sounds wider, and all we've done is take away from the middle of the extra. We've taken off all the plugins, all the reverbs, all the saturation, all the compression, and it just sounds bigger. So sometimes less is more, and this is why, like on week 9 of my course, I'll ask Aaron to come to me with a track where he's learned everything we've done, and he brings 2 versions. One version has no plugins on at all. maybe a little bit of reverb, yeah. And one version has all the saturation and everything else on. And what you learn is that the elements that you put into the mix are what make the mix. It's not about compression, it's not about saturation. It should be 90-95% there in the track. Don't forget, I've taken off all these reverbs, I've taken off everything, and it just punches a little bit more. And that's what mixing's about. I've changed the levels a little bit, and the track's come alive. I've not even started compressing it yet. So let's have a listen to the vocal.
About you, honey, all I wanna do is fun tonight. Wanna get to know you better, baby. Later, are we really gonna take this ride? Each time it feels so real. Thinking about you, honey, all I wanna do is fun tonight. Can't wait to meet up later. Are we really gonna take this ride?
Okay, so what I've done is I've just made the vocals work in the track without any reverb, without any delays, getting the levels right. I turned the speakers down really low here. And that's the best way, I think. Having your speakers really low in volume is the best level for mixing in like your hi-hats and your vocals and stuff like that. And when you turn it back up, you generally find it sits in the mix. But what I do is I get the vocals in the mix like this, and then I join the vocals to the track, or glue them track with the reverbs and the delays. And again, all I've done here is take everything off, and I think we're nearly there with it. The bass might need a bit of looking at, but that's everything in the track. Okay, so the vocals are lead, and you've used the same reverb on the snares and the drums as you had on the vocal. I don't want them to be in the same space. I want them to be, you know, in different positions in the mix. So always use separate reverbs for that. Aaron, your tracks are really good. You know, you're nearly there. By the time I finish, you'll be making great sounding music. Well, it's already great sounding music, but it'll be punching. So let's look at this now. We've got all the parts in, and the vocals are lead. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a bit of reverb on the vocal, and then I'm going to sort out the piano, and then ask myself, does this track need any reverb or anything else in the track? I never send everything to the same reverb. It just puts everything in one space, and all that reverb is overlapping each other, getting muddy, and it's not the right thing to do. So, and if you've seen somebody say, oh yeah, I've used the same reverb because I want everything to be in the same room, yeah, that's real drums and that's being in a real space. But this is dance music, and we want the clap to be really forward, but we want a reverb that's longer, but I don't want that reverb to be lost in the reverb of the vocal. I want it to cut through. So we use different reverbs for that. But we don't necessarily have to use reverbs and everything, because don't forget, right? Everything you add into the mix, yeah, besides the actual parts, is either gluing the track together, like reverbs, delays, saturation, or it's muddying your mix, okay? And there's a fine line between, oh, that's glued together, to losing transients, okay? And what we've done is lose transients. So I'll just reference it now to the original.
Thinking about you, honey, all I wanna do is find tonight. Can't wait to meet up later. Are we really gonna take this ride?
Sorry. Right, I'm gonna have to sort this out. Okay, so what I was saying was, when you A-B'd the new mix to the original mix sounds like it's covered in reverb, and that's because it is, okay? And what you're doing is you're sending all your reverbs to the same place, okay? All your instruments, so all the reverbs are building up. And what happens is once you add a bit of reverb or a bit of saturation or a bit of sort of delay, it can glue a track together. But too much is mud, and it kills your dynamics, it kills your punch, right? And all I can hear in the original mix is loads of reverbs. And Aaron's played that out and it went off, okay? But imagine what it's going to feel like now in the club. It's really going to hit. So be very mindful. Don't put the same reverb on anything. Think of the position of everything. And what I was saying before was that you do see some people say, okay, put the same reverb on everything because they want everything to be in the same space. But we don't want everything to be in the same space. We want things to be, you know, from here to here, 20 hertz, 20,000 hertz, mid to sides, left to right, forwards to backwards. We want something there, something here. Do you know what I mean? That's down to volume levels, panning, stereo spread, and reverbs. So just always add all your reverbs and all your saturation and delays at the end. And I guarantee you, if you mix into your track, like we're doing now, you're not going to overdo it. Okay, any questions for me? So what I said was, the vocal reverb wants to be on its own, so I'm going to listen to the vocal. And do you have, okay, Valhalla? Okay, so you've put a stereo spread on the vocals, and it's not necessarily what I want to be doing. So let's get the vocals right. Okay, so I'm just going to get these vocal levels right.
Thinking about you, honey, all I wanna do is fuck tonight. Can't wait to meet up later. Are we really gonna take this ride? Thinking about you, honey, all I wanna do is fuck tonight. Wanna get to know you better, baby. Can't wait to meet up later. Are we really gonna take this ride? This time it feels so real. I can never find the words to tell ya. Thinking about you, honey, all I wanna do is fuck tonight. Can't wait to meet up later. Are we really gonna take this ride? Thinking about you, honey, all I wanna do is fuck tonight.
Sorry about that. So you've got two different vocals and they're sat in different places, but what you've done is you've done stereo spread on the main Vox, and what you've done is you've got two vocals side by side, and then you've treated ones, you've changed the phase, but what's happened is the one that's wide has still got the mid center in it. Okay, so you've got the mono signal and the mid signal kind of phasing with each other a little bit, but your stereo signal is louder than your mono signal. Okay, so the whole thing just merges and feels wide, and the width that you've created is in the same position as the piano width. Okay, so what I want to do is first of all get the vocal in position in the center and then make it wider. But because all the vocals are different and recorded differently, like this one sounds like it's got harmonies in it, and it's this verso 2 is wider anyway. I don't just want to slap one treatment on the main vocal to make it wider. And when I'm making it wider, I'm thinking that how is it wide in relation to the piano? So I'm going to treat it separately. Just have a listen and put a reverb on verse 1.
Thinking about you, honey, all I wanna do is vibe tonight. Can't wait to meet up later. Are we really gonna take this ride? Thinking about you, honey, all I wanna do is vibe tonight. Can't wait to meet up later. Are we really gonna take this ride? Thinking about you, honey, all I wanna do is vibe tonight.
So what I'm going to do with the reverb is I'm going to put the reverb on full. I'm listening to the tail, how long the tail is and how it's going into the next word, and making sure that it's not just overlapping it too much, but just making it feel like it's working better with the piano and with the track. So I listen too loud and then I bring it down in the mix.
Really gonna take this ride. Thinking about you, honey, all I wanna do is vibe tonight. Can't wait to meet up later. Are we really gonna take this ride? Thinking about you, honey, all I wanna do is vibe tonight. Can't wait to meet up later. Are we really gonna take this ride?
Now, instead of slapping on the stereo image, you can make this wider in different ways. And what I would do with this, I would create another chain in there, but use a delay. And have you got Echo Boy? Okay. So we'll just use a normal echo. So let's try a ping pong to make it wider. Excuse the dog. Okay, so I'm going to put that on there.
Thinking about you, honey, all I want.
I'm going to put it on a ping pong and just see if I can make it sound wider without taking away from the vocal in the center, because it's a great vocal.
Thinking about you, honey, all I wanna do is vibe tonight. Can't wait to meet up later. Are we really gonna take this ride? Thinking about you, honey, all I wanna do is vibe tonight. Can't wait to meet up later. Are we really gonna take this ride? Thinking about you, honey, all I wanna do is vibe tonight. Can't wait to meet up later. Are we really gonna take this ride? Thinking about you, honey, all I wanna do is vibe tonight. Can't wait to meet up later. Are we really gonna take this ride? Thinking about you, honey, all I wanna do is vibe tonight. Thinking about you, honey, all I wanna do is vibe tonight. Can't wait to meet up later. Are we really gonna take this ride? Thinking about you, honey, all I wanna do is vibe tonight. Can't wait to meet up later. Are we really gonna take this ride? Thinking about you, honey, all I wanna do is vibe tonight. Can't wait to meet up later. Are we really gonna take this ride? Thinking about you, honey, all I wanna do is vibe tonight. Can't wait to meet up later. Are we really gonna take this ride? Thinking about you, honey, all I wanna do is vibe tonight.
Okay, so normally what I would do is I would try a few different reverbs. We haven't got all night to do this. So for me now, the vocals got more. It's more forward in the mix. Okay, the piano's there, the sub bass, the bass is there, and the kick's there and up here. The hi-hats are up here, and it's really punching and coming through. So let's say be that to the original track.
Thinking about you, honey, all I wanna do is fuck tonight. Can't wait to meet up later. Are we really gonna take this ride? Thinking about you, honey, all I wanna do is fuck tonight. Can't wait to meet up later. Are we really gonna take this ride?
Okay, I can hear all the processing and all everything else that we've taken off when A B it to the original mix. So I would go through all the vocals. I would do this separately, and if they're the same, I would use the same reverb, same delays. But if they're recorded different, I would want to treat them different with the same reverbs and same delays, but maybe EQ'd a little bit differently. No, send channels are, well, it's arguable. If you finish your track and you send it for mastering, or you send it to a label and they say, okay, send us the stems. So you send the kick, the bass, you know, the vocals, the pianos. Okay. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go to the groups, and I want to treat everything in the group. So I've got a vocal group here. Okay. I've got this music group here. Yeah. I'll have a bass group, and then I'll get all my drums, playing that. Okay, and then I'll have a drum group. Okay. So what I'll do is, and then I'll have, well, my kick would be separate. So, and I'd have kick. So I'd have the kick separate, the bass separate, the drums separate, sometimes the mid drums, sometimes the high drums. I'd have the music separate, and the vocals and the effects, and send them as stems. Now the problem you've got is this, not just about sending it for mastering and sending it for stem mixing, is I want to mix this track and I want to feel like all them drums together. So if I treat the bus of the drums or the group of the drums, you know, I'm not treating the reverb. So for example, like I like to put on all the drums, but not the, let's take them off. On all the drums, but not the kick. I like to put on an LFO, okay? And what I want is, I want it to bounce. I want everything in that group to bounce. I put this LFO tool on everything, okay? On all the buses except for the kick. And it just makes the track bounce a little bit. So all the reverbs and all the shakers and all the different things that might be slightly out of time, it makes it all bounce together, it makes it all groove. It's just like using a glue compressor on your master, but different. And when you're treating a group, whether it be the music or the drums or whatever it is, and all in this is in Ableton only, okay, and you send it to a send, that reverb or that delay is not being treated as part of the group, okay? And apparently this Ableton do this on purpose, because they want you to use chains, which is what I've been doing there, and that's the reason why I use the chains. In Cubase, I use sends. In Logic, I use sends, because I can then send the send to the group and treat it as a part of the group. Does that make sense? Okay, so the track's punching. It sounds a lot better. I just want to glue it together a little bit. So like I said, I've just put that LFO on there.
Thinking about you, honey, all I wanna do is fuck tonight. Can't wait to meet up later. Are we really gonna take
Okay, so what's that doing now? Everything's just slightly bouncing. You can't hear it pumping, okay, but it's just making everything just feel like that a little bit. So all the reverbs, all the shakers, everything that wasn't quite feeling like it was glued together is feeling like it's glued together. Okay, so now, because we're running short on time, I'm going to look at the bass. So the reason why I don't use compressors for sidechaining kick and bass is this. So if I get an LFO tool on the bass, okay, I don't want to work on what's below like 100 hertz. Okay, so the key to understanding sidechain compression is understanding what attack does. So the attack is the amount of time it takes to reach full compression. Okay, what people seem to think is how quickly it starts, you know, and that's not true. So basically, let's just say that's an uncompressed signal in the LFO tool. So, you know, all we're doing is drawing something over time, a volume line over time. But most people seem to think that, you know, that's a slow attack, that's a fast attack, and it starts really quickly. It's not, right? The attack is how quickly it takes to be fully compressed. So, for example, that's fast attack, and that's a slow attack. And this line here is when it reaches full compression, okay? So what you're doing is, you've got the fast attack, but really, you're cutting out the bass, but you're not. The transient of the bass is still there. And that's why with a fast attack, sometimes you get artifacts, because that bit is still in there, okay? So I never use a compressor for sidechaining kick and bass for that exact reason, okay? But with the LFO tool, what you're doing is this, okay? You're turning it down because we have the rate of a quarter beat. We're making sure the volume is down right before the kick comes in, yeah? Because all we're doing is we're drawing the volume between two gaps, right, which are equal, a quarter beat there, right, the rate. So before every kick, we're guaranteed for the volume to come down, okay? With the compressor, the volume doesn't come down, it goes like that. So you've still got this bit of the bass in there. So that's why we don't use it for sidechain compression. We use LFO tool or shaper box or duck or whatever you've got. I'm just going to show you what I do now.
Thinking about you, honey, all I wanna do is vibe tonight. Can't wait to meet up later. Are we really gonna take?
So what I'm doing is I'm isolating the bottom end and I'm carving it out, okay? I don't want to go into this because we did this on the last session, okay? But under 150 hertz, I'm just taking the bass out when the kick comes in, but I'm carving it in a way which means that I've still got bass there, but the kick comes through. And that's why I don't use kickstart either. So when you sidechain a kick and bass, isolate it, use your rears, and every track's different because every kick's different and every bass is different. And sometimes you don't need to sidechain loads of bottom end out of a bass if the bass is in B and the kick's in G, much lower. So you should be listening to, in isolation at in the bottom end, what it's doing. Okay, any questions for me?
Thinking about you, honey, all I wanna do is vibe tonight.
Okay, so now I'm listening to the track and now I'm thinking, right, I could add some reverb to this, but let's just say we send all the percussion like you were doing to one reverb. So let's say I put a small reverb on there. It kind of sounds okay, but I want the clap reverb to be different. So what I've done is I've extracted the clap from the chain and I've added a different reverb and I've made it wider and it sounds different. So now you've got that house feeling of the big clap. And for me, that sits better in the mix. I would have, you know, each instrument going to ascend at different levels, which you did do. But I want this reverb to be bouncing in the group. So that's why I've done it. And I think that sounds miles better. Let's have a listen in the mix. Okay, so now what's happening is I've got everything working. The mix is punching. Now I'm adding reverbs in, which I think the track needs, okay? Now, for me, they sound great, but the bass just sounds a bit in the center on its own. It doesn't feel like it's glued to the track as much. So I'm going to add a bit of reverb to it, weirdly enough. And people say never had reverb to bass, but I think this is going to really help, specifically for when it's on its own. So I'm listening in isolation first of all, taking out the frequencies I don't want, I'm making it wider, and that's going to help the bass glue to the track. And some people might say to you, never put reverb on bass. There's no such, like, nothing is 100%. Question everything. If it sounds good and it works, do it. And I've EQ'd the real bottom end so it doesn't create any phase issues at the bottom. Made it a bit wider. Let's listen to that in the mix. it sounds great. It sounds great. It's really glued the bass to the rest of the track. So in the intro now, it just feels like, oh yeah, this is like, we don't need anything else in that track. We don't need loads of reverbs. We don't need loads of anything else. Let's listen to it compared to the original. I'll come to your question in a minute, Soren. Welcome on board. Wow, what a difference. So, it's the little things, you know, less is more. Get everything in the mix, get it sounding great, then listen through the track and see where you think it might need something. Don't just add it for the sake of adding it. I think that really works there. There's no rules when it comes to doing anything. If it sounds good, it sounds good. Does it punch through the mix? That's the main thing. So let's have a listen to the track.
Thinking about you, honey, all I wanna do is fun tonight. Can't wait to meet up later. Are we really gonna take this ride? Thinking about you, honey. Later, are we really gonna take this ride? Each time it feels so real. I can how I feel in your vibe. Now I can't wait to take this journey.
So the piano was feeling a bit dry, and I'm just going to now. I feel like the piano needs to glue to the track a little bit more, so I'm going to add the reverb to the piano. I really should have done that before I did the drums, but I'm doing it now. So yeah, I'll just show you how I do it. I just put it on. I will put it into a chain maybe, but let's have a listen. Okay, so I put the reverb on parallel, which is ascend if you're Logic or something else. I've then EQ'd it and I've sidechained it to the actual piano, just so it dips a little bit when the piano's in. I felt like it was a little bit just wet. And when you A/B it to the original, you can hear a massive, massive, massive difference. So I think we're nearly there for tonight. We've been on for an hour and a half. The mix sounds great. The track's really good, Aaron. It would take me ages to go through all the vocals and do it. So I'm going to get Aaron to do all that and then I'll mix it down for him. But the track sounds great. It really punches now. It's the same things. All I've done is change the levels, take off compression, take off saturation, take off loads of things. And, you know, the mix is 90% there, 90 bit more maybe. Everything's got its place in the mix. It's miles wider, it's miles punchier. The vocal comes through. It sounds more like a record. So, Aaron, I'm going to get you to go away and watch the video, do the same thing to the vocals, make them fit all in the same, make them feel like they're all the same vocal, because as you can hear with this one,
Thinking about you, honey, thinking about you, honey, all
just sounds like a single vocal.
thinking about you, honey,
And this one's got layers of vocals in it. So it's totally different. So it's a different vibe. Is it the same words?
thinking about you, honey, all I wanna do is stop tonight. Wanna get to know you better, baby. To meet up later, are we really gonna take this ride? This time it feels so real. Thinking about you, honey, all I wanna do is stop tonight. Can't wait to meet up later, are we really gonna take this ride?
One's got loads of harmonies, backing vocals doubled, one isn't. So if they are saying the same things, I would use the same one repeated. If not, they must, whichever sample pack you got them from, must have them like that. Because really you want it to be continuous. And look at all the other vocals in that way. Any questions for me? You know, I would possibly go into the drums now. You've got a bit of compression on there. Let's have a listen to that.
Thinking about you, honey, all I wanna do is
Again, Aaron, you're taking all the bottom end out of you when you're over compressing it on, like on the drums. With that, if you want to get that pumping feeling for the drums, slam it like this and then just use the mix. Again, because we've got the right reverbs and we've chosen the right sounds, Doesn't feel to me like it needs any distortion. Doesn't feel like it needs anything, because they cut through the mix, and that's the key to it. I'll probably make that synth pump a little bit more, just to make the track bounce a little bit more. So again, it's always the same shape with the LFO. It's just how much you're doing it. And then what I would do, I've got all the music in the middle, just quickly put a track spacer on there. Which is basically the sidechainer. Input, sidechain it to the vocals. Just do it in the mids. So just cutting it down in this section here and leaving it on the sides. I'm going to listen to it because I might take out the top end or whatever. So I want fast attack, I want pretty fast release, I want it in the mids. So what I did then was I put track spacer on the drums and sidechained over 5K. I was listening with my ears, that was the best point. Very slightly took the volume down in the middle when the vocal was in. And that just helped the top end of the vocal come through a little bit more. Okay, it could take me a full day to do this, but the key issues we've addressed. And that's what this is all about. So if you've got a track you want me to mix down like this, is to identify where you can improve in your production and your mixing. And mixing comes from your production. You know, keep saying it's like a cake, it's the ingredients that you put in. It should be, you know, 90-95% there, your mix without any reverbs, delays, saturations, everything else. So I would say to Aaron now, not to put anything on his master bus, not to put anything on anything, maybe a little bit of reverb on something and get the mix banging then. Use reference metric AB it. So Soren was asking a question. I use metric AB because I've got it on a key command. So I can A-B the original mix like we were doing. You press match here and it level matches the two tracks. So as I keep saying, anything that's louder sounds better. So it level matches a track. And then I can listen to the low frequencies, the mid frequencies, the high frequencies of each track and identify and listen, has mine got the punch of the reference track? Does mine not have the punch of the reference track? Is it better than the original? Have I messed up their track? You know, it's an amazing tool. I can look at the correlation of the track, the stereo imaging. I can use the loudness as well, which is really good. But I generally use playback a lot, and I can isolate the areas, which is fantastic. So you can hear the difference there. I'll just turn off the mic. Okay, Aaron, I want you to listen to this, okay? Listen to the mids, the high mids, right? Don't forget, ours is blue, the original is orange, okay? This is what was created by adding all those stereo imaging, okay? And listen to the definition of the vocal and the piano now without those stereo images on. This is the difference. Can you hear the phasing now? You know, we've taken away, the transients are coming through much, much more. Try not to use too much stereo spreading or reverbs, and always check it with AB level matched. That's the key to it. So I think it was a great session. Aaron, or Stefan, his real name is, I'm going to ask him to go away, look at the vocals, apply what we've done. I'll collect all and save. Again, I've done this very, very, very quickly, okay? So I've done it in an hour and a half. I could have spent a bit more time finding a better kick, Okay, I could have spent a bit more time, you know, finding other sounds that really punch through a little bit more. I could definitely spend a bit more time on the bass. Okay, but the idea is to find you the key areas that you need to look at, and we've definitely identified them. Have you enjoyed it, guys and girls? Thank you for joining us. Any questions for me? Okay, there is a bit of a delay on the live stream. Key takeaway from this session: less is more. Get your mix together with no processing. If you don't know what saturation's doing, don't add it. If you don't know what compression's doing, don't add it. Don't forget, most of our sounds are compressed anyway. Think about the reverbs. Get to the end of the mix, turn it all off, A/B it, and listen to if it sounds better or not. The track sounded 10 times better when I changed the kick and took off all the saturation, all the compression, and all the reverb. And one of the reasons why Stefan couldn't realize what he was doing, because when he applied those things, they just made them louder. Okay, and by making them louder, he thinks it sounded better, but it didn't, and that was the key to it. So thank you everyone for joining. Thank you everyone for your comments. If you'd like me to mix down your track, DM me, send me an email, info@subtonemusicacademy.com. Hope you enjoyed it. And we're not here tomorrow or Friday or Thursday. Might do Thursday night. So if you're not already signed up to our website, you get some free videos there. Subtonemusicacademy.com. And if you're interested in the one-to-one mentorship, just contact us on there. Have a great evening or morning wherever you are in the world. Thanks everyone for joining in. I really appreciate it. And sorry for the technicalities. I don't know why, but for some reason I can't play it through the speakers, which I could do on the last set of streaming live. So yeah,